Have you ever thought about the waterway that connects the world? The Strait of Hormuz, the gateway to global oil, where great powers clash for control. What makes this narrow passage a potential flashpoint for war and crisis? In the heart of the Middle East, where desert sands meet the salty waters of the Gulf, lies the Strait of Hormuz, a maritime artery that keeps the world alive. Though its width reaches 50 kilometers at the entrance and exit, the central channel, just 40 kilometers wide, is deep enough to carry the largest oil tankers. This is no ordinary passage. It's a critical choke point, a single point of failure for the global economy, making it one of the most dangerous places on Earth. To grasp the magnitude, imagine this. Nearly 20% of the world's oil consumption flows through this narrow route each day, totaling over $600 billion in annual trade. Any disruption, even brief, sends shockwaves across the globe, from Chinese factories to European homes. So who holds the reins over this vital artery? Here begins the grand chess game. On one side stands Iran, guarding the northern coast. It uses its strategic position, along with a missile arsenal and fast attack boats, to pressure its rivals. During the Iran-Iraq War, from 1980 to 1988, the strait saw attempts to disrupt maritime traffic, a reminder that history can repeat itself. On the other side, the United States and its regional allies, primarily Saudi Arabia and the UAE, remain ready to respond to any threat. The U.S. Fifth Fleet is stationed in Bahrain for this very reason. But this game isn't reserved for just two players. Russia sees the tension as an opportunity to expand its influence. Meanwhile, China, the world's largest oil importer, depends heavily on this vital passage, with nearly half of its oil imports passing through Hormuz. China, India, Japan, and South Korea are among the top importers of crude oil through the strait. In 2022, around 82% of crude oil and condensates leaving the Gulf passed through Hormuz, destined for Asian markets. In 2024, China, India, Japan, and South Korea accounted for nearly 69% of all oil flows, markets most vulnerable to supply disruptions. Gulf states, especially Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Kuwait, are heavily reliant on this waterway. Saudi Arabia exports around 6 million barrels of crude oil daily via the strait, more than any other neighbor. This route accounts for nearly 20% of global energy consumption. Most oil heading to Asia crosses here. Only two Gulf nations have alternative pipelines: Saudi Arabia, with 5 to 7 million barrels per day, and the UAE, with 1.5 to 2 million. Others, like Kuwait, Qatar, and Iraq, depend entirely on Hormuz. Turkey, though geographically distant, watches closely. About 30% of its oil imports come from Gulf countries, making it vulnerable to any supply shock. The US and Europe. The US imports around 700,000 barrels of oil and condensates from the strait each day, about 11% of its total oil imports and 3% of gasoline consumption. In 2024, US oil imports from the Gulf reached their lowest level in nearly 40 years. Europe receives under 1 million barrels per day from the strait. The Strait of Hormuz is more than a waterway. It's a mirror reflecting the fragile balance of global power. The critical question remains: will cautious diplomacy defuse this ticking bomb, or will it be left to explode, dragging the world with it? Subscribe to our channel for more deep insights into geopolitics and global power struggles.